Welcome into this Super Bowl edition of Locked On NFL Insider Report. I'm Kainani Stevens, Isaiah Stanback, our Locked On NFL Insider, back once again. We appreciate your expertise throughout the entire season and, of course, on Super Sunday. And this entire NFL postseason, we've had some great games. The Super Bowl included, went right down to the wire in this one, and the Rams came out on top over the Bengals. And you've been saying it, Isaiah, all year long. The Rams were built for this game, built for this season, this 1 year alone, and they got the job done.
Yeah, they were all in. All the chips were on the table. They knew that they didn't have an opportunity to wait until the next year or years down the road. This was their opportunity. It seemed to work out perfectly. Everything from the halftime show to everything being in L.A. to Von Miller, Odell Beckham, Aaron Donald, Ramsey, all their big dogs being ready and healthy for this game. Seemingly everything was ready for these guys to go out there and take the W just like they did today. Congratulations to these guys in the Super Bowl championship.
I hope they got a sneak peek of that halftime show because it got me hyped. So they really came out ready to play in the second half of this game. It was close. It was back and forth throughout the entire game. Obviously, Cincinnati's been doing something all year long with Joe Burrow kind of just making something out of nothing. But this Rams defense came at him, and it came at him late. Aaron Donald getting that sack to end the game effectively. What were you able to see from the big names on this roster for the Rams come through in the clutch?
Well, we saw originally from the opening drive, you saw Odell Beckham and the effect that he had on this offense. Obviously, when he came in this year after being released from the Cleveland Browns, there was a lot of skepticism in terms of what he was going to bring to this team. When you throw him in the mix with Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson, and all of a sudden you have a trio that's pretty doggone dominant. You went down there on that first drive, and you saw exactly what he was able to do. Before his injury, he went out there and he had, I think, 2 for 52 yards and a touchdown. And he did a great job working his way down the field. Obviously, he was able to take coverage away from Cooper Kupp, which was obviously awesome for those guys. Stafford found him in the corner of the end zone on a crossing route a couple times, found him in the corner of the end zone on a man-to-man coverage, which Cincinnati wasn't doing prior to that play, but they caught those guys slipping, made a big play. Unfortunately, he went down later on in the game with an injury to that same knee that he sustained ACL surgery on a couple years prior. Hopefully he's okay, but that was a big blow to these guys as they were not able to have an effective running game. But late in the game, they were able to find Cooper Kupp and find their main guy, the league's leading receiver in yards and catches and touchdowns and every other stat that goes along with a receiver. And obviously he came through big like you always expect for him to.
Kupp eventually named the MVP with his 2 touchdowns in this game. And you mentioned that last drive. There really weren't a lot of options because the running game was non-existent throughout this game. OBJ's out with the knee injury, and it was just Stafford to Kupp, and it was almost like Cincinnati couldn't do anything at that point. A really good defense throughout the year, but at that point there was just, what were you going to do?
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing that they couldn't get a running game going, but that's just a huge testament to Cincinnati and their preparation. They figured that they wanted to put it onto Matthew Stafford's shoulders, and they felt like Matthew Stafford was going to give them an opportunity to get back in this ball game. He did take one shot. He took a shot later in that second half to Van Jefferson and got it picked off in the back left-hand corner of the end zone. That was the opportunity that Cincinnati was hoping for all game by shutting down that run. Unfortunately for Cincinnati, there's a Cooper Kupp on the other side of the ball. And as you mentioned, obviously with no Higbee, no Odell Beckham, he becomes the one-man show. And he went down there and took care of business. Cincinnati, testament to them, they were able to move the ball effectively on the ground and in the air. Jalen Ramsey was not effective against Jamar Chase. The rookie seemed to have his way against the veteran, quote-unquote, remake of Revis Island. And, they did a great job. They're a young team. These guys have a long way to go. They have a lot of pieces that they need to fill going into the next year. And I don't think that this is the last that you'll see of Cincinnati. It's a testament that they got there this time, but I don't think that this is the last time we'll see them in the show.
And we have to give them credit. Obviously, this is a very young team. They were, last place 2 years ago to get Joe Burrow, and then to go from that point to now you're in the Super Bowl. This is something where going forward, the Rams are going to have to rebuild, but Cincinnati's got the groundwork there to be successful for many years to come.
Yeah, no, you just said it right there. I mean, the Rams are all in. Obviously, their future it has been pretty much traded away. These guys don't have a first round pick, I don't think, for the next 4 years. So these guys are going to have to find ways to get creative within their salary cap issues that they're going to be presented, within their 1 year deals that they're going to have. Some of their guys may even be up, like Aaron Donald might be retiring after this year. There's nothing else for him to really attain. He had the big contract. He's had MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and now he has a Super Bowl ring. He's married with kids now, so all of a sudden he's in a situation where he might walk away from the game. Von Miller might walk away from the game. You have all these guys. Odell Beckham, there's speculation now with his injury. What did he sustain? Did he tear something? It appears that way, but we'll see once the MRI results come back. So there's a lot of speculation as to what are the Rams going to look like going forward. But to your point, Kay, the Cincinnati Bengals are young. I mean, these guys were picking Joe Burrow with the #1 pick 2 years ago. So there's so much more room for these guys to grow. And it's an amazing job by them and their organization to be in this position, to be competitive, representing Ohio, to come out here and be in the Super Bowl. They should be very proud, hold their heads high, because I'm pretty sure in this offseason there's going to be a lot of people who will be willing to go play with Mr. Burrow himself in Cincinnati Bengals that would not ever have thought about it prior to today.
Future is certainly bright for Cincinnati. Any of the Rams' future worries, that's for another day, because tonight they are the world champions, and there's nothing that beats that, of course. Now, thank you for helping us with our Super Bowl roundup, Isaiah. I'm Kainani Stevens.